Hi, everybody. Here's our weekly update for English 560, going into week 7 of our Shakespeare semester. You might be able to tell that I'm not in my office this week. I'm actually at a conference in Denver right now, but I wanted to make sure I had a chance to talk with you a little bit about the midterm exam that's coming up this week. Make sure everybody's on the same page as to how that's going to operate. I still want to keep our conversation about Hamlet going, so please don't lose steam on that. There's a lot of that play I feel we haven't touched on yet, so I'd like to continue those discussions. But as you've no doubt noticed in the syllabus, we are scheduled for a midterm this week, and for me, that's really an opportunity, I think, to step back and kind of assess what we've been looking at, what we've been talking about. So I don't see the exam as a particularly challenging experience for you. It shouldn't be, but it should be an opportunity for you to sort of gather ideas and put them together in ways that perhaps you haven't yet. So I do think of the exam as essentially the equivalent of what you would be doing for 1 hour in a classroom setting. So I will send it out to you on Tuesday of this week, and I will ask for it to be returned to me, and we can do this directly by email. I don't think we'll need to turn it in for this little problem, but I'll ask you to return it to me by Friday of this week, please. So I'll send it out to you Tuesday. You'll have several days to look at it, think about it, but you really should think of it as something you're going to write in about an hour. And I will put specific word count maximums on each of the questions to try to give you a framework. The exam will come to you in 3 pieces. The first piece will be a passage identification and discussion. I will give you about half a dozen passages from the plays. We've read 4 plays. I'll give you 6 pieces to choose from. You're going to choose 2 of those, and you're going to write 2 separate mini essays, please. What I'm looking for, certainly you'll need to identify the speaker in the passage, but this is a take-home exam, open book, open notes, I don't care. So the identification piece, real simple. What I'll be really interested in is your ability to talk about how that particular passage helps illuminate the ideas or themes of the play that you find it in. So 2 of those. And then part 2 of the exam, I will give you 1 critical commentary, that is 1 passage from a scholar that I've found interesting, 1 for each play. I'll ask you to choose 1 of those. Again, lots of flexibility, lots of individual choices built in here. I'll ask you to choose 1 of those 4 passages. And again, in a short essay, spend a little bit of time paraphrasing the passage so that it's clear to me that you know what the critic is claiming. Then, more importantly, respond to it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you agree and disagree? Why? It's always helpful to be able to point to specific passages or ideas from the plays to support your arguments. Again, this is not a formal essay, so I'm not expecting a rigid, thorough analysis. Seat of the pants response is what I'm looking for. Then part 3 of the exam will be a slightly longer and more formal essay. This will be a compare and contrast. Usually for the formal essays, I really discourage compare and contrast. But in this case, I think it's okay. It gives you an opportunity to branch out a little bit, do some stuff you haven't done before. So I'll give you a couple of different prompts. You'll choose 1 of them that hopefully you find interesting that allows you to talk about 2 plays. And I will, again, we've read 4 plays so far, so not a lot to choose from. So I will ask you over the course of the exam to make sure that you're talking about all 4 of our plays. The one other stipulation that I'll add for this compare and contrast essay is that you not use Henry IV Part 1 and Henry V. I'd like you to cross genre for this essay. But again, as I say, what I'll do is give you a couple of different prompts that'll maybe send you in one direction or another. You'll choose one of them and use that as the basis uh, for your essay. I'll send out a skeleton of the essay, kind of walking through the instructions for each of these three pieces with this update. And if you do have any questions between now and Tuesday, please do holler. Uh, Other than the exam will be the kind of the exciting part of the semester, of the week, rather. We'll still continue our conversation about Hamlet. And Friday the 14th, I'd like to be able to start talking about Twelfth Night. So we'll have the quiz over Acts 1 and 2 of that play ready for Friday the 14th. Uh, Hopefully, things will fall into place pretty easily. Oh, you should all have your essays back by now. I emailed those back to you last week. If for some reason you haven't gotten that from me, please do let me know. And again, if you have any questions about my feedback on those essays, happy to talk with you in more detail. Let's set up an opportunity to do that, and I think that would be quite interesting and quite useful. I think that's it. We'll see how the midterms go and start digging into 12th night pretty soon.